Race number 10, VTA A1, brought to you by Team Associated on the track. Jumping out into that early lead is that all-gray car of Peter Karras. Jerry Freckleton in that second spot. Nick Pantana, your TQ, dropping back, but goes on the inside of Jerry, takes that spot away. Peter Karras out in front, Nick in second, Jerry in third, Tim Moore, the bright pink car, in the fourth spot. Then you got Chris Crine in fifth, Brian Wright in the sixth spot. Here comes Nick closing that gap on Peter as they're coming on the left side of the track. On to the back straight and they come. Peter Karras out in front, Nick Pantana looking for a place to get by. Oh, Peter puts it up on two wheels, does the tortoise coming across the track. There's their leaders now down the back straightaway. Nick Pantana, give me a stop and go real quick, Jerry. Go, thank you. Nick Pantana out in front. In that Jimmy Johnson replica paint job. In the second spot, Jerry Freckleton in that bright yellow and white car. Tucked in behind him is the bright pink car of Tim Moore. Right behind them is that silver car of Chris Crine. So you got a three-way battle for that second spot right now. Candyman out in front, 13-4 last time by. Then you got Jerry with a 13-7. Tim Moore, 13-3. Makes a little mistake coming off the sweeper there. That's going to give Chris Crine the inside. Chris goes on the inside, takes over that third spot. Tim dropping back to fourth. Off the big side sweeper there. Chris Crine still hanging on to that third spot in that silver car. Tim Moore makes...
Hey, it's Randy from One Up Racing, and I've got a new release that you're going to love. My new lockdown wheel nuts in 7075 aluminum. Based on the lightweight design from their titanium counterparts, these beauties are my lightest wheel nuts yet, weighing under 1.8 grams for a set of 4. The serrations are real. These are individually cut by CNC and meant to grip like hell. Tighten until they feel snug and you're good to go. These are my third generation of lockdown wheel nuts, and I've got to say they're the best looking to date. You're going to love them. Pick one up for every build.
So race number 12, you guys will be up at 12 o'clock. Gives you guys a little bit of a break, gives you a little chance to get to work on some stuff. Once again, we'll start the main events back up at 12 o'clock. Nick Pantana out in front with 2 minutes to go. 13-3 that time by Jerry with a 13-3 as well. Just under 2 seconds back. Then you got in the third spot, Chris Crine, about 2 seconds behind him. In the fourth spot is Tim Moore, about 3 seconds back. And you got a little bit gap back to your early leader, Peter Karras, in the fifth spot. Brian Wright in sixth. 3:30 down and 1:30 still left to go. Everybody getting spread out right now. You got Nick crossing the line with a 13-3. Jerry comes by with a 13-2. Chris Crine, 13-3. Here comes Tim Moore by the stripe with a 14 flat. Peter with a 13-6. Brian Wright with a 14-1. Eric F. Come up here, please, Eric. 1 minute left to go, guys. 1 minute left to go. Race number 11 coming up next. Okay. Nick Pantana out in front. Stretching that lead out to 2 seconds now on Jerry Freckleton. Nick with a 13-2. Jerry with a 13-2. Chris Crine in that third spot.
He said 1 minute, by the way.
30 seconds left on the master clock. Race number 11 coming up next. Mod TC A main event. Battle for fourth and fifth through the center of the track right now. The bright pink car of Tim Moore, Peter Karras in that Corsa gray right behind him as they're coming around with 10 seconds to go. This is our closest battle. Peter goes on the inside, gives the fender to Tim as they come down the back straightaway. Their leader coming up behind them now. That that is time. Drivers, finish the lap you're on. No close battles. Everybody else pretty spread out right now. Just finish the lap you're on. Peter, you're done with the 4th spot. Nick Pantana taking the win in your VTA class. Jerry Freckleton finishing in 2nd. Chris Krine brings it home in 3rd. VTA A2 main event brought to you by Team Associated. Out on the track, your TQ, Nick Pantana, leading them around for the first time by Nick taking the win in A1, trying to close this out. Jerry Freckleton in that 2nd spot in that bright yellow and white car. Then you got the battle of 2 gray cars in 3rd and 4th. Peter Karras and Chris Krine. Down the back straight they come. Peter Karras in the 3rd spot. Chris Krine in 4th. Then you got Keith Menard in the 5th spot. Brian Wright in 6th. Tim Moore in 7th. Rich Semino in the 8th spot. Pantana down the back straightaway, 13 flat that time by for him. 13-4 for Jerry. Peter with a 13-4. Chris with a 13-8. Tim with a 13-7. Nick 12-9 that time by. Arden open to a 2.5 second advantage on Jerry Freckleton into that 2nd spot. Battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th off the back straightaway. Jerry hanging on to that 2nd spot. Peter Karras in that gray car right behind him. They're starting to reel him in. Around the left side of the track they come. Peter Karras closing in big time. Oh, and 2nd place car, Jerry Freckleton spins out. That's going to give the 2nd spot now to Peter Karras. Chris Krine up into the 3rd spot now. Jerry dropping back to 4th. Two minutes down and 3 minutes still left to go. Jerry having some real struggles keeping that back end on the track. Nick Pantana open up to just about a half a lap advantage right now. Nick with a 13-6 that time by. Peter Karras comes by the stripe with a 13-6. Chris Krine with a 13-5. Just past the halfway point. 2:30 down and 2:30 still left to go. Closest battle right now is for the 4th and 5th spot between Tim Moore and Jerry Freckleton. Here they come down the back straight of that bright pink car of Tim Moore in the 4th spot. Jerry in 5th. In front of the driver's stand, they come. Tim Moore hanging on to that 4th spot. Coming through some lap traffic down the back straight. Tim comes by the line with a 13-9. Jerry with a 13-8. Jerry really struggling with the handling on this car in this heat. Trying to reel back in, but Tim Moore just pulling away. Tim Moore with a 13-5. Jerry with a 13-7. 1:30 left on the master clock. Nick Pantana still out in front. Jerry's spinning out right in front of him. Everybody stretched out now. No close battles on the track with 1:30 left to go. Your running order right now. Nick Pantana out in front. Then you've got about a 6-second gap to that all-gray car of Peter Karras in the 2nd spot. That silver car and Chris Krine in 3rd, about a 1.5 seconds behind him. Then you got Tim Moore in the 4th spot. Brian Wright up into the 5th spot. Battling out with Jerry. Down the back straight, that is your battle for the 5th and 6th spot with less than 1 minute to go. Brian Wright in that white and gold car. Right behind him is Jerry Freckleton in the bright fluorescent yellow and white. They come down the back straightaway. Jerry out in front now in that 5th spot. Brian Wright dropping back to 6th with 30 seconds left to go. Battle for 2nd and 3rd coming around on the left side. are closing up on 15 seconds left to go. Pantana still stretching that lead out. It's got a half a lap advantage. Peter Karras and Chris Krein still going at it as they're coming up on the center of the track. Chris Krein trying to reel him in as we come up on time. That is time, drivers. Finish the lap you're on. Peter will finish in the second spot. Chris Krein will finish in third. Taking you overall in the VTA class, Nick Pantana taking the win. This is your VTA A3 main event brought to you by Team Associated. A little bit of checkups. Brian Wright jumping out in that early lead, starting on the 4th spot. The whole shot of the day when he gets on the outside. There's a 3-way drag race down the back straightaway. They get tangled up. Brian Wright gets the good side, pulling away out in front. Then you got Peter Karras in the 2nd spot. Then in 3rd now, you've got Keith Menard starting 9th on the field, up into the 3rd spot. Here comes Jerry Freckleton around on the outside. Jerry up into 3rd now. Keith dropping back to 4th. And you got Chris Krein in 5th, Tim Moore in the 6th spot. Brian Wright with a 13.9. Last time by Peter Karras right behind him with a 13.9 as well. Here they come around the left side of the track. Down the back straight they come. Brian with a 13.8, Peter with a 13.6. Brian Wright still hanging on out in front. Here comes Jerry Freckleton with a 13.1. Last time by for Jerry, closing that gap. Brian with a 13.7, Peter 13.7, Jerry 13.5. It's going to be a 3-way battle here out front here shortly. Through 130 down and 330 still left to go. Brian Wright out in front, Peter in 2nd, Jerry in 3rd. Here comes Peter all over that back bumper of Brian, trying to make a high-low move into those 180s now, going on to the back straightaway. Here they come across the line. Brian with a 13.6, Peter 13.5, Jerry 13.7. Jerry looking up place to get by Peter. Jerry the quickest car here. Around they come. Oh, Jerry gets they hang up a little bit. Brian Wright gets back over. Jerry Freckleton gets the better end of that deal. Out in front now. Brian Wright drops back into 2nd. Peter drops down to 3rd. 2 minutes down and 3 minutes still left to go. You've got Chris Krein in the 4th spot. Tim Moore in 5th. Keith Menard in 6th. Rich Semino in the 7th spot. Close it in on that halfway point. Brian Wright in 2nd. He's got Peter Karras right behind him. Oh, your leader traction rolls in that center straightaway. Brian Wright back out in front. Keith goes back into the 3rd now. Peter watching, warning in the front chicane again. Watch on the front chicane. Here they come into the center section now. Peter trying to get a place to get by. Down into the back straightaway now. Keith Menard looking on that inside of Peter. They tangle up. Keith is going to wait for him. Thank you, Keith. Wait. Thank you. 3 minutes down and 2 minutes left to go. So you got Brian Wright out in front. Chris Krein now in the 2nd spot. Chris Krein starting to reel in Brian now. 1:45 left on the master clock. Brian Wright with a 14.2, Chris Krein 13.7. Then you got Peter Karras in the 3rd spot, Jerry Freckleton in 4th, Tim Moore in the 5th spot. Brian Wright comes by with a 14 flat, Chris Krein 13.8. Chris really starting to reel him in with about 1:30 left to go. Brian Wright 13.9, Chris Krein 13.8. Then you got Peter with a 13.8, Jerry 13.4 in the 4th spot. So you got 2 battles going on right now. Chris Krein all over the back bumper of Brian Wright. Then you got Jerry all over the back bumper of Peter for 3rd and 4th with less than 1 minute to go. Brian Wright trying to hang on to this win in A3. Chris Krein trying to get by. 45 seconds left to go. Peter Karras with a 13.4. That time by in the 3rd spot.
He was out. I was calling tighter in yet.
30 seconds. Brian Wright hanging on to it. Chris Crine in that second spot. Here comes third and fourth with 20 seconds to go. This could end up being a 4-car battle as they're going to go by for one more lap. Brian Wright out in front. Here they go by for one final lap. This will be their white flag lap for all 4 cars. Brian Wright leading them around. That is time, drivers. Finish the lap you're on. Here comes Chris Crine trying to make a last-ditch effort to try to make it around. Here they come onto the back straight one final time. Brian Wright taking the win. Brian Wright taking the win in A3, driving the dump truck.
Good job, Brian.